The school's corridors lay quiet and dimly lit as I, Daniel Reynolds, a high school English teacher, remained at my desk long after the students had gone home. Staying late was part of the job, especially when midterms were looming, but that evening, as I tried to tackle a pile of essays, something sinister unfolded. The clock on the wall ticked past midnight, and I could hear nothing but the soft hum of the flickering fluorescent lights above. A heavy silence had settled over the school, thick with an ominous tension that I couldn't quite put my finger on. As I marked the last essay, a faint creak echoed from the hallway. I looked up, my heart pounding in my chest. My initial thought was that a janitor or a fellow teacher had stayed late, but the footsteps that followed were different. They were hesitant, almost cautious, like someone trying to sneak up on me. "Hello?" I called out, my voice wavering. "Is someone there?" No response. The footsteps ceased abruptly, and the silence returned, oppressive and unsettling. I tried to shrug it off as a figment of my overactive imagination, but unease clung to me like a second skin. As I gathered my belongings, determined to leave and put the strange incident behind me, I noticed a shadow moving on the wall across the hallway. My blood ran cold as I realized that the shadow had no source. No one was there to cast it. My hand trembled as I reached for the doorknob, but before I could make my escape, a disembodied whisper drifted through the air. It was barely audible, like a faint breeze carrying distant words. "Stay, Dot." The word hung in the air like a sinister omen. I stepped back, my heart racing, and turned to face the empty hallway. There was no one there, but the presence I felt was undeniable, a malevolent force, urging me to remain. Swallowing my fear, I left my classroom and ventured into the dimly lit hallway, my footsteps echoing softly. The school seemed to stretch endlessly in every direction, the long rows of lockers and closed classroom doors creating a labyrinthine maze. As I walked further into the heart of the building, the whispers grew louder and more distinct, like a chorus of ghostly voices. They seemed to be coming from the walls themselves, speaking in hushed, urgent tones. "Stay with us, Daniel." The voices carried a sense of desperation, as though they were trapped souls yearning for company. Panic swelled inside me, and I quickened my pace, determined to find the source of the eerie phenomenon. But the further I ventured into the school's depths, the more distorted the architecture became. Hallways twisted and turned in impossible ways, leading me in circles, and doorways seemed to appear and disappear at will. It was as though the school itself was conspiring to keep me trapped. As I turned another corner, I came face to face with a chilling sight, a classroom door that shouldn't have been there. It was old and weathered, the wood cracked and peeling. The nameplate read, "Room 333, a room that had never existed in the school before." Curiosity mixed with dread, and I slowly pushed open the door. Inside, the room was plunged in darkness, save for a single flickering candle at the front of the class. Rows of empty desks stretched out before me, and at the far end, a figure stood facing the chalkboard. "Who are you?" I stammered, my voice trembling. The figure slowly turned to face me, revealing a face obscured by shadows. A sinister smile crept across its lips as it raised a finger to beckon me forward. A chill ran down my spine, but I couldn't resist. I stepped closer, my footsteps echoing in the eerie silence. The figure spoke in a voice that seemed to come from all directions at once, a chorus of whispers converging into a single voice. "You were meant to stay, Daniel. To join us." As the figure extended a cold, ghostly hand towards me, I realized that I had walked into a nightmare from which there was no escape. The school had become a sinister labyrinth, and I had unwittingly become a part of its dark history. As the figure's fingers brushed against mine, I felt an overwhelming sense of dread and despair wash over me, and the world around me twisted into a nightmarish abyss from which I would never emerge.